This is the third one of these in May and the 9th in the journey from Watchet to Sandwich. So we'll finish off the journey to Portland. Daughter came down to a visit, which was a pleasure, but unfortunately no sailing, and then heading off towards Yarmouth on the Isle of Wight. So we arrived safely in Portland. Unfortunately the wind shifted and had to motor sail, and it was also a very dark night, and I was worried because there was spray coming into the boat, so I didn't really video anything, but to be quite honest there was nothing to video. And then when I got quite close to Portland, the tiller pilot stopped working. It just sort of, the arm sort of went all the way out and it just sort of started steering around in circles. So I don't know if it got bored of going straight for too long or what happened. I've taken it apart and I'm hoping it's going to work again, because that's going to be a real pain if I can't actually kind of have that. Portland is fine. Sorry about the last videos, by the way, because my brain was not quite working properly and I looked back and I don't even understand them when I was there. So, but anyway, I'll give you a quick view on the chart of what happened in terms of you know, what the route looked like and so on, very, very briefly, and a quick shot of the marina, which is massive. It's a huge, great big place. So let's have a quick look at that. So very briefly, here's the track going around from Plymouth with the wind, which was supposed to be coming from the north, but it started to coming much more from the sort of northeast. The squall, the 33-mile-an-hour thing, that hit about here. Got round the corner, some lovely, where we left I was kind of, I suppose, about here-ish. Lovely sailing, very, very close to the wind. Hit another sort of squally bit around here, and then the wind just shifted, and it really, really shifted to sort of more east, certainly much more east than north, which was a real shame. But what I did is, I could have sort of come out a lot further. I decided to actually motor sail, so I motor sailed through the rest of the night. Very, very dark, just slightly more slammy, but it kind of, I think that's because I was powering through the waves, but you know, I wasn't sort of revving the engine too much. And then kind of reached this area at, I meant to reach here at about 6, which I did. Eventually got in at 11. This last bit took me ages to do. And the reason being, I was so focused on being away from Portland Race and away from the shambles, so I stood off about 5 miles in each direction, that I didn't really take the tides into account enough. So if I go back in time, and I've kind of set the tides for the morning of the 25th, and this is about 9 o'clock-ish when I was about here, what we can see is that we've got quite strong tides coming out at sort of 2+ knots in this direction, and I've got the wind coming in at 25 knots in this direction. So with these strong tides, the sort of wind over tide, it turned it all into a bit of a sort of a mogul field. And because the tiller pilot had kind of broken, it was all hand steered, although it just took a long time, to be quite honest. It was uncomfortable, it was unpleasant, but served me right for not taking it into account. And then very easy bit of pilotage into the huge, look, you can see how big Portland is. The outer harbour is almost the same size. Key thing is there's 3 entrances. You don't go through that one. I think there's a chain across. There's certainly a wreck in the middle of it. That's for the commercial ships, and we leisure people use the North Ship channel, and there's a very easy to follow channel. This is where I messed about to make sure I had all my lines and stuff set up properly. And then within that large outer harbour there is a massive marina with 3 dedicated visitors berths. So as you can see, I came in here and moored up. Here we can see the final approach from the top of a hill, and this is the massive outer harbour with the 3 entrances. This first one, there's a wreck right in the middle of it, and I don't think it's used by anybody. In fact, I've been told there's a chain across it. Then the second one, which you can see there, that's the sort of commercial ships, and that slight gap there, that's the third one. That's the one that we leisure craft use, and we can't see the marina here because it's just around the corner, so I'll move to the other side of the hill to have a look at that. Right, so that's Chesil Beach, and that's the sort of, I don't know what you call it, the road causeway thing that links to, and there is the marina. So this is an inner bit within the outer harbour, and certainly can't see Serenity from here, but I can kind of zoom in to roughly where she is, which is sort of there. So here we are at Portland Marina, where they've got 3 huge areas actually for visitors in. There were a few more people, but a lot have actually gone now. So this is just the visitors area, and I'm guessing in the summer, but they have a little visitors office there as well. So highly impressed with their facilities. So Portland, I kind of think of Portland as being sort of halfway, but I did some sums the other day, and I've actually done a total of about 340 miles so far, and I've got about 180 miles to go. This was originally planned as a bit of a delivery trip that I wanted to kind of get it squished all into April, and also shake down both for me and Serenity, for me to try out different things like a night sail, which I've done, like staying on the hook, and just being on the boat and travelling. This is the most, and travelling on my own, doing sort of, I mean, I never really talk about the single-handed sailor stuff, but most of me learning how to sail is with other people, and when all of a sudden you've got lots of things to do on your own, it's quite a challenge. So I wanted to kind of see how that's worked out, and so far it's been alright. You know, it's not been a massive great big problem. I've become completely beguiled by this area, and I know lots of people have commented to say, oh, you should stop in at such and such and so and so. I know, I'd love to. I've stopped in at more places and stayed longer than I meant to. Who knows, I might even come back and do a complete summer here. The western part of the UK for sailing is absolutely fabulous, and I just got hit with the most lovely weather. But anyway, that's one thing. So I am in Portland now. And the thing about Portland is there is a word, and this is true, I mean, I know I joke about these things, there is a word you cannot say, and I'm just going to hold it up very briefly so you have to have a look at it. I don't think there's anybody around looking, but yeah, and I'm being serious. It's actually considered quite an insult, particularly if you say this word to an older person, and it's supposed to be very, very unlucky for various reasons to do with, you're allowed to call them underground mutton or long-eared furry things, and you can just about get away with bunnies, and it's something to do with when they were quarrying, if the people setting the explosives and so on saw an underground mutton, they wouldn't work for the rest of the day because they felt it made the ground unstable or something. But so anyway, Lucy came over with my daughter. We were going to go to the Isle of Wight, but the weather actually closed and it was really, really unpleasant, so we went for a walk. And we were walking, we were on our own, and we were walking up a hill, and in conversation she said out loud, quite loud, the R word. We kind of looked around to check there's nobody around, and all of a sudden there was a sort of a local person who almost sort of glided up to us, and this sort of slightly older woman, and sort of glided past wearing a long coat. It was a very hot day, so it's very, very strange. So what would happen? Would Lucy get her comeuppance? Well, let's just have a look at something that happened a little bit later on in the walk. So this is actually the footpath, and a sewer has broken, but there's a tiny little path on the side. But this is not going to stop us going to our cafe stop and a nice view. You right there, Luce? Rambles. Don't fall in.
Oh, it smells so bad.
It does smell bad. See, you don't get that on YouTube. They need to have a smelly version.
Oh, God.
This is not good.
You're buying me some YouTube.
How do we get past that bit though?
We don't. We go back. Oh, we buy me some YouTube. Dad, I can't go back to YouTube.
Oh no, you can't swear. Not on my YouTube channel. Well, we nearly made it. Not quite, unfortunately. What can I say?
Grumpy daughter.
Somebody wimped out.
That is strange as pee on my hands right now.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call myself a wimp.
That's because you said the R word in front of a local, isn't it?
No. No. Who would do something as stupid as that?
So we had to find a bit of sea and go for a paddle because somebody was a little bit distressed about getting raw sewage on her feet. I shouldn't really laugh, should I? Well, I didn't know, it's funny, so anyway. Now apparently that burst sewage main was caused by a rock that not a few hours earlier had actually come down the hillside, so Was the rock after us, or was this just a warning sign? I don't know. But whatever you do, when you do visit, and I hope you do, because it's a lovely place, lovely walks, Portland, don't use the R word. Here we go, a lovely day to depart Portland. There is some wind. It's kind of going to start off about 10 knots and then die to almost nothing, but today should be a good day. Quick peek at what's going on. So I have left Portland. We have Weymouth sort of over there-ish. Quite a few boats out today actually, which is quite nice. They're all a lot closer to the shore, so I'm wondering if they're just going out for a day sail. And we have about 17 knots. I think that's under reading, because I think we're doing about 4.5 at the moment. Yeah, and it's a little bit misty towards the shore. This is the famous Jurassic coast. So again, some lovely countryside to look at. And sea feather working fine, tiller pilot not so good. It's just not working, it's broken. Oh well. Okay, so this is not desperately good. This is seawater, not sure. I think it might have come in the other night when I was actually coming over to Portland, because the boat's been level ever since. I didn't notice it until we kind of leant over. So I am going to kind of mop it up. Right, motor sailing again, but this is about 2 hours after discovering quite a lot of water in the boat. 7 buckets full in all, and it's not even my lucky number. So motor sailing very naughtily with the sea feather, so I shouldn't really be doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep everything open so I can see where the water goes. I'm going to leave it a couple of hours. If it gets worse, then I've got a problem. If it stays the same, then I've got a mystery, and to be quite honest, I'd rather have a mystery at this point. Well, so it seems that it's more of a mystery than a problem, because it doesn't seem to have got worse. This is about 2.5 hours later, so I'm going to close up the engine cover, because it is very, very noisy, and take it from there. Spoiler alert, I did get to Yarmouth okay. We will have a look at my other camera gave up, the cheap GoPro camera gave up, but I think I fixed it now. So we will have a look at Yarmouth, and then setting off towards, well, Brighton is the next planned stop, so we'll see what happens the next time. See you then.